RETROSAURUS with Oli and Kev.
Well, welcome to RETROSAURUS with
me, Oli,
and me, Kev. And this is the podcast that talks about what is pop culture and what is flop culture. And tonight we're talking about Masters of the Universe. In particular,
the toys, the lovely, muscly, beautiful toys.
Ooh, it gives me chills just thinking about it.
You can almost get these toys in potentially Victoria's Secrets or, Prowler or a Clone Zone if, you have one nearby.
Did you have He-Man toys when you were
Yes,
little?
of course I did. Of course.
Which ones did you have?
So, I mean, I had He-Man and Skeletor. I think I had Battle Cat as well. What toys did you have?
Oh, God, I had all of them. I mean, I
Right.
had a lot of them. If you like, I'll tell you a few of the names just to refresh our memories. What do you think?
Can I ask you about one name? And I don't know if this was just a made-up thing or whether this is true. Was there a He-Man hero called Mr. Fister?
He was called Fisto.
Thank you. Okay, all right.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. I mean, it was written on the wall, this one.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah.
So what is Fisto's deal?
Right. So let's get straight down. Let's get straight down to the nitty-gritty, shall we? Fisto.
Yeah. Okay.
Fisto is an extra strong warrior with a metal right hand. He's the caretaker of the forest. Second in strength, only to He-Man, using his giant fist to free the people from the rocks that had entrapped them during a cave-in. Man-at-Arms replaced his fist with a larger metallic hand. The figure was packaged as in another way as Battle Fist due to a conflict of copyright with another toy line, which I am guessing is probably an S&M toy line.
Maybe. Because that's interesting, because looking at a bit more of his character bio, I can see his aliases. One is Battle Fist, as you just alluded to.
Yeah.
The other one is Malcolm.
Right.
Duncan, Malcolm, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I think this is sort of maybe like a story which you went to a bar, you picked up some guy with a beard because he's got a beard, right? And
he has.
And maybe has one silver glove on, maybe, I don't know. But then you get home to his place and suddenly he produces this enormous metal fist and says, fancy a go on my massive metal fist. And you're like, Malcolm, I think it's past my bedtime.
Do you think that a lot of these characters, because they're extremely big and muscly, it's very like Tom of Finland, isn't it? Like kind of erotic art, like
totally.
into a cartoon. It's worrying.
Well, in the 80s, it was like a big thing. There was that whole thing of
Schwarzenegger. I think he brought it out. Like that was a big action hero, and then everyone is like massive. I guess Conan the Barbarian, you could potentially say, is a earlier thing of He-Man, couldn't you? Really?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like you could read into all the names, right? I'll just read you a few names that we've got. We've got Ram Man.
Okay.
I presume he does the ramming and is not rammed, but come on, if someone gives you a name Ram Man, there's no smoke without fire, my friend.
This is true.
Right. Clamp Champ. So it's somebody doing something with a vice or with could be nipple clamps or clothes pegs.
Actually, can we just go back a second?
Yes.
Ram Man.
Yes.
I'm looking at a photo of Ram Man now.
Yeah.
He looks like some kind of douche.
What do you mean, some kind of douche?
Like something that you would put up your bum to clean it.
Oh, I see. Right.
I mean, if you look at the shape of the head and the body, it does look. It could also be maybe a butt plug. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Ram Man is quite interesting.
Right. So what do you mean? Like if you So you could just ram man up your arse.
I think you definitely could. I think I'd be worried
or
about
whatever else you wanted to ram it. I don't know.
I think if you were selling this as a toy, you would like to put on the box, not to be rammed up your anus. Yeah.
But if he was designed for that very purpose, what's the problem?
No, it's true. It's true. I can't argue with that.
I've got in his bio here, Ram Man is a stocky warrior with poor verbal skills. And I reckon that's probably because he spent the majority of the time rammed up somebody's arse.
Well, exactly. You'd be struggling for speech, wouldn't you? I am now, just thinking about it.
At very most, it would be muffled.
Definitely. And who is this? And did you say, what's the next one called? Clamp Man. Did you say?
No, he's called Clamp Champ.
Clamp Champ.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, he was actually I don't remember this guy at all. He was the only black character to have an action figure in the entire series.
Oh, well, very forward.
In the toy line, rather. And he wields a large handheld grabbing device.
Okay.
I think he's maybe like one of those people on the metro in Japan that pinches your bottom or something.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah. Like it. And then we've got two horses that turned up, which are, they've got like robotic bits on them and stuff. One of them is called Stridor.
I mean, come on. I mean, really.
And the sort of evil version of it, which was called Night Stalker. And then there's this other guy that there's a lot of like reptiles, snakes and shit, There's this other one called Lizard Man. And this I thought was brilliant, where somebody had written the bio and said, Lizard Man's bio states that he has dealt with discrimination due to his genetic connections to the snake men.
Well, I mean, all power to him, really. I sympathize with that.
I wonder if there's a lizard pride or lizard lives matter or something.
Yeah, well, I think so. I think there could be. Apparently, looking at something else online about his bio, he was once a slave. So, fair play. He's managed to escape that, and he's living his best life.
Yeah. And then we've got another guy called Rhinorb, an evil rhinoceros with a horrible ramming horn.
Oh, they've all got ramming horns in this place. So it seems to be a man in a rhino costume. Is that right?
Yeah. But what toys did you have that you can remember?
Definitely He-Man. I'm sure I had Battle Cat. Definitely Skeletor. I think I may have had a grey skull castle. I don't think I had a snake one, a snake Martin.
No, because it came out a bit later.
Okay.
Castle Grayskull was like the first thing that was available, so probably everybody had that one,
I think those were the ones I really remember, but obviously I don't know what happened to them at all. Maybe they got inserted in different places and we never saw them again. I'm not entirely sure.
They probably the people at ER probably took them out with tongs or something like that.
No, definitely. Maybe I had Duncan. I'm not sure.
So just to conclude, because we talked a lot about figures and stuff like that, but there's some really good ones. There's one called Tongue Lasher.
Yes, and he has a very large tongue. He seems to be a snake of some description.
That's right.
Correct?
That's right. A guy called Flog. No prizes for guessing what he's up to in Castle Grayskull in the dungeon. Slush Head. He's an incompetent amphibious mutant with cybernetic tentacles. He serves as Flog's second in command and is the co-pilot of the mutant mothership. The next one is called Plundor. Plundor first appeared in the cartoon. He conquered the planet Trannies with many of his robots.
Wow, they really are ahead of their time.
They are. But you know what? I would have thought it would be more like straight men that would try to conquer the planet of Trannies. And then I think here's for the finale. We've got Frogman, Lava Man. Can you imagine the toy of Lava Man?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at Frogman now. I mean, that again does what it says on the tin. A frog man. I mean, Lava Man. I'm trying
try
I'm trying to
marketing
imagine what
Lava
this is.
Man.
It's basically lava. Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, yeah, apart from the fact that he could be lava, but I mean, try putting that in an action figure package.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's a character in She-Ra. We haven't talked about She-Ra yet.
Oh, I love She-Ra.
Right, but her nemesis, like the Skeletor of She-Ra, is called Hordak. But you know how they made also different versions of Skeletor and stuff like that, right? And they made one called Wrong Hordak. Wrong. Who knows what he did to get that title, but
right.
I can imagine. Captain Sticky Fingers, whoever he is. I presume Captain Sticky Fingers, he's got such sticky fingers that if he grabs you, you're his prisoner or something like that.
Tell me, was Sticky Fingers in He-Man or She-Man?
Oh,
Either is bad.
She-Man. Well, he I don't know. Maybe he was in She-Ra. I don't really know.
Sorry. Well, sorry. It should be She-Man, shouldn't it? Really, it shouldn't be She-Ra. It should be She-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a completely different. I think it's a completely different cartoon, obviously. But I think they missed a trick there.
They definitely did. And then finally, there's one character called in She-Ra. I didn't go into the She-Ra characters because actually they're not as bizarre as the He-Man ones, strangely.
Oh, that's
and she's called Glimmer, but I thought her bio was really interesting. Glimmer, I think, because she has like some sort of staff that lets out light. If you're in a cave and you're stuck, she's got this staff that lights up or something like that.
Oh, okay, I see.
And in her bio, it said, Glimmer comes from a happy home, but her childhood is tinged with sadness.
Doesn't sound that fucking happy then, does it? She's tinged with sadness. What happened? What do you reckon was going on there that was tinged with sadness?
I don't know.
Was the milk always off? What was it?
She wasn't depressed. She was merely tinged with sadness, which is different. Like someone like Van Gogh or something was touched by madness.
Oh, she was
tinged with sadness.
Oh, that's true.
Hey, Ollie, I know we've talked about toys and everything, which are fabulous, but let's talk about the memes. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Skeletor and He-Man memes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're very highly sexualized, like a sexual tension between them as well. Mm.
And there's actually two opposing things. He-Man gives advice in his memes, and Skeletor has a thing called Skeletor Disturbing Facts, right?
Right.
And it all started on Facebook, apparently, by this gimmick page called Sinister Skeletor. And basically the whole thing was Skeletor says a disturbing fact.
Yeah.
And the memes all ended with the phrase, until we meet again, with a picture of Skeletor running away, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And apparently it did really, really well. And some of them are just brilliantly degenerate. So it's like pictures of him, and some of them are just so brilliant. I think only a teenager could come up with these, honestly.
Yeah.
For example, there's one that says, when people French kiss, they form an approximately 60-foot long tube between two buttholes.
Until we meet again. That's nice. I like that.
What's your take on this? The Skeletor memes? What do you...
I think it's great. I think they fit well with the personality.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a genius idea. I think some of them are quite good.
Then He-Man does one, right, which is opposing, and it says, remember, kids, the dating pool has pee in it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. How to make fluffy pancakes. Add 1 tablespoon of go fuck yourself. When a pregnant woman goes swimming, she is a human submarine. Skeletor will return with more disturbing facts next week. He-Man. So yeah, okay, let's move on from the memes, Ollie. And you know how Skeletor's got his disturbing facts,
yeah,
and He-Man's got his advice and whatnot. Well, I thought maybe we could just read out a couple of things that I found on the internet.
Mm.
And we could just see if they are valid as Skeletor memes, or indeed, could they be Skeletor He-Man and discuss, okay? So here's the first one. 2 Scottish surgeons originally invented the chainsaw to assist childbirth.
Only in Scotland.
But is it Scottish Skeletor or Scottish He-Man?
Scottish Skeletor, no question.
Why?
It's got a chainsaw. It's got a chainsaw involved, and it involves cutting someone up. Of course, Skeletor.
In childbirth, in particular, it's pretty
Yeah,
grotty.
no less. Yeah,
it's pretty
definitely.
grotty.
Go on, you're the Skeletor.
So if I did
here.
the meme here, it would be
the Scottish Skeletor. I mean, come on, it's
two
this is your range.
2 Scottish Skeletor surgeons originally invented the chainsaw to assist childbirth.
That's good. I think you should add in more of a Scottish phrase at the end in a Skeletor.
Like okay, the new or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, the new, it's a boy. Mobile phones are 10 times dirtier than a toilet seat.
He-Man.
Why do you say He-Man?
Cleanliness. Look at him. Not a hair on his body. Waxes himself, keeps himself clean. Yes. Hygiene monster.
Yes. He is really the boy next door, assuming that the boy next door had been pumped up with a bicycle
steroid
pump. So mobile phones are 10 times dirtier than a toilet seat. He-Man or Skeletor? He-Man, you said.
Oh, no. I mean, it has to be He-Man. It has to be He-Man.
Right.
Remember, kids, keep those mobile phones away from your mouth because they're 10 times dirtier than a toilet seat. Unless you like licking toilet seats, in which case, carry on.
He-Man.
Is there some kind of romance going on with Skeletor and He-Man? And if so, how would that work? What's your view on that?
In short, skull fucking.
And
too soon.
Just to clarify, I guess Skeletor with the skull is the one that's having the penetration too. Or are you suggesting that Skeletor is penetrating a He-Man skull?
My goodness, you get straight to the heart of it, don't you? Mind you, I did say skull fucking. But
straight to the skull with a bit, yeah.
Well, it's all a bit difficult, isn't it? Top, who's the top, who's the bottom, who's doing what?
I think He-Man's the bottom. I think so.
Why? Just because he's pretty? Potentially.
I think just too muscly, too perfect, I don't know.
Could it just simply be that Skeletor's into beastly acts
Maybe.
And needs to,
Well, Skeletor always wants to be on top, doesn't he? So maybe that's what.
That's it. He wants to rule Eternia.
He does. Well, Skeletor's always trying to get into Castle Grayskull, and He-Man's always trying to stop him. Mm-hmm. So what does that say? He's always trying to get in, trying to breach the castle walls. So.
Yeah, I sort of wonder what goes on in Snake Mountain. I think it sounds much more interesting.
That's true.
That's true. Snake Mountain. It's like Snake Mountain. I think would be a great name for a really dodgy BDSM club. No.
Definitely. Definitely.
We're all going down to Snake Mountain tonight, and bring your furry pants.
Do you think he has a mortgage on Snake Mountain? Because he's never going to die, really. So, I guess he's all right.
He is from another galaxy, so he could be renting.
True. We don't know. We don't know what the situation is.
No, we don't know. It's huge as well. I mean,
Yeah.
There's got to be more than one person living there. Come on.
Well, all of his henchmen. And there's a lot of henchmen.
It's probably Snake Mountain's probably like a semi-detached, because they couldn't have the whole thing to themselves. I think it would have looked a lot nicer with a nice little picket fence and stuff. A few flowers. They totally ignored the garden. There was just like a few sort of dead trees and vultures sitting on them.
No water feature or anything like that.
Yeah. I don't know. This romance is a bit Romeo and Juliet to me, because Skeletor clearly comes from a dark place. He-Man comes from a good place. And I really don't think the parents would approve.
Yeah, undoubtedly. It would be unrequited love on both of their parts.
Could you imagine if you brought home to your folks this purple guy wearing furry pants and it had a skull for a face and a hood?
Well, I think it would be an interesting conversation.
Maybe it would work if he was good on paper.
Potentially,
like he's got a good CV or something.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think it'd have to really be quite convincing of his other attributes. So I think if he was a millionaire, you could probably get away with that, can't you? You can do anything you want when you're a millionaire or billionaire.
Do you think his cock is all bony, or is it? Well, I'm sorry that I had to think about that, but I had to because this podcast is about that.
It's very strange. I mean, obviously his face is bones, is a skull, but his arms seem quite fleshy. So I imagine it must be a blue, fleshy, member.
Don't you think it's a bit sneaky to create the show out of the toy line as opposed to create the show and then create the toys?
I think it's marketing genius. They obviously had all the molds of this very big, muscly people, and they were like, right, let's just create some shit and we'll sell them on. Perfect. Like money Transformers.
Money for old rope, really.
Exactly.
Sneaky though. And and they're targeting children with this, who are the most vulnerable, because they've no idea that you're
but who are the
pulling
most
the wool over their eyes.
Maybe it's the adults, they're the ones having to cough up for this.
Maybe the He-Man figures were kind of designed for mothers to see all their rippling muscles and say, oh yeah, we'll get that for our child.
We'll have a bit of that.
Because that means they'll grow up nice and adjusted.
Well, didn't we? That's a question mark for another time. That's a question for another time.
Yeah, let's see what the comments are on this on this podcast first of all.
So if these characters existed in real life, what problems would you think they would encounter in their day-to-day job? What would they do for jobs in the real world? I think Skeletor would be a bank manager selling mortgages. I think we've established that. And what about Malcolm or Fisto? I think he'd be a good boxer.
Oh dear, no! I think let's just have Fisto doing what he's good at, and leave it there.
But that's not a job. I mean, I don't think it is. I mean, obviously there's Pornhub. What about if he was, like some kind of vet, but for like big animals, where you needed like a big fist? A vet has to put his hand into a cow to get out the calf and stuff.
Oh yeah, well he could have easily been on that program on the BBC. What was it called?
The vet. You mean the vet thing? Is that
right?
You
know the one I mean. And he always had his hand up a cow's ass.
Exactly. It's something that this Fisto could definitely do, and I think he'd be well equipped for that. There's the Yorkshire vet on Channel 4 you might be thinking of. He's always got his hand up someone's ass.
Right.
I mean, sorry, an animal's ass. An animal's ass. Sorry, I must clarify that. That's liable.
You wish.
He-Man and Skeletor, if they were having a party on the same night, which one would you go to and why?
I think you know the answer.
Yeah.
Please answer this for me.
I think it's Skeletor's party, isn't it, really? Because that's going to be the one that's fun.
But why? Why go?
Because He-Man's not going to allow you to drink or do anything. There's going to be no carbs. It's going to be very, very healthy eating, very, talking about the latest, Radio 4 news program or something.
Radio 4.
I don't know. It's going to be very, very, or it's not even going to be that intellectual. Maybe it could potentially be very, just talking about going to the gym, and Skeletors. There's going to be all sorts of stuff going on. You're going to have Beastman dancing in the corner. Maybe Evil Lynn is there as well, serving cocktails and stuff. Who else is in his henchmen?
Oh God, there's just every kind of mutant life form that you can think of.
Fun.
It's diverse.
Yeah, definitely.
Harry Styles would be there.
Yeah, definitely.
Lady Gaga would definitely be at Snake Mountain. I was sort of thinking, who would be in the queue for Snake Mountain? Like celebrities, for example.
Nadine Dorris, Matt Hancock, Jacob Rees-Mogg. I think a lot of those people would be there.
Right. So
in their wake.
So Grayskull's the more like celebrity hangout. So you've got like what's his name? Justin Bieber, those kind of people.
Maybe.
And then you go over to Snake Mountains, all the like underground secret sleaze. So what are you saying? Are you saying you would go to Snake Mountain or Castle Grayskull?
Oh no, I think whatever party Skeletor's having, I'm there.
It's a bit like Silvio Berlusconi, really. You're sort of either in his crowd of friends, in his inner circle, or you're just out.
Yeah. I don't want to be in Berlusconi's crowd. I would be in Skeletor's one. I'd be interested to see Skeletor's one. Wow. But you're right. It's probably similar.
Hey, Ollie, I just wanted to know, like, what Masters of the Universe character would you be, and why would you be it?
Well, I've got one.
What have you got?
Blowy. So basically, obviously he's got a Tom of Finland body, as the rest of them have, a codpiece vest, and he has a mouth that enlarges basically, and expends lots of kind of like wind, like blowing wind, like a blowing thing that he could blow people away. And then also he has a very kind of good gag reflex, so that way if he's being gassed or anything, he could survive for longer because he can yeah.
Right, so he's sort of like a human leaf blower. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay, I suppose it could be useful if you've got an evil horde running towards you with clubs.
I think He-Man would find it very useful. I think he'd find ways.
It's all a bit sort of it's all a bit it's all a bit ambiguous, this one, I feel.
Is he ambiguous?
I would say the blowing, and because if you think about it, blowing is not exactly the action that you want in that situation.
Depends on the situation.
It really does, doesn't it? My He-Man toy character. Well, first the blowy guy, is he evil? Is he on Skeletor's side or He-Man's side?
I think whichever way the wind blows.
Oh, he bats for both teams.
He does. He's versatile.
Wow. Okay, fair enough. You can do what you like. My He-Man character is called Cockoff.
Okay.
Cockoff. I thought it's good. Catchy name. Cockoff. Can you imagine the advert on the TV? Yeah. Cockoff. Well, he's great because he can fire his cock at his victims.
See, I'm not sure, because that is so out, that's so on the nose. Especially if it hits you in the nose. I'm not sure that's getting past the TV censors, really. I mean, that's the only problem with Cockoff.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter about the money. It doesn't matter. It's about getting your ideas out there.
Also, can I just say, you may have a problem like in Russia and Eastern Europe selling this toy.
Why is that?
Because isn't that mean father, like son of? So Cockoff could be son of cock.
Oh dear.
Basically, son of cock.
I don't want to get sued before we've even begun.
No, I don't need to get sued, but people
with the
just
creation.
People will be confused of Cockoff. They will think he's, of Eastern European descent.
It's a bit like foreign brands that you find in foreign lands. For example, this friend of mine went off to Croatia and found a brand called Slag.
Yeah, well, there you go. Exactly.
Right.
You have to be careful. You might have to have a different name for the European market.
But think how, when you make a brand, right?
Yeah.
How do you test that word in all of the languages?
Well, these days, come on, you use Google. You're right. In the old days, in the 80s, you'd have no way.
But what about some remote tribe that doesn't have the internet? Like that, there's this tribe that exists, and every time a helicopter goes near, they fire arrows at it.
Yeah. You know what I say to them? Fuck them.
I would say cock off to them.
Indeed.
And I would fire the massive cock at them. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, carry on.
Right. I've decided to make this a bit special and a bit more commercial. So I've decided to put two characters in a special 2-pack.
Okay.
So Cockoff comes with with his mate, or it could be his boyfriend actually. It's called Erectos.
Okay.
And he gets a stiffy by flicking a switch on his back. And wait.
Okay.
Wait, right. If you're not sold on the 2-pack thing, right? Remember that they had a figure that came with a horse and stuff. Right. Or a cat. Battle cat and stuff.
Battle cat.
Well, I thought, right, maybe Erectos, the one that gets a stiffy by flicking a switch in his back. You know how you used to get Eagle Eyes Action Man? Well, this one has a stiffy, right?
Okay.
But here's the brilliant part.
Oh, here's a brilliant part. Okay. Hold on. Oh, let me just. Oh, okay. Here it comes.
Yeah. But when commercial people who work for Hasbro and stuff hear this, there should be just cash register sounds going off, money spinner. So you get this remote control cock, that doubles as a battering ram. So you can batter down the door to Castle Grayskull, and Erectos is on it driving. And like, if it all goes horribly wrong, like, I don't know if like, you know, like Duncan and He-Man, Malcolm and whoever pour hot tar onto them from the battlements or something, Cock-Off arrives and just fires his cock at them. I can't see a toy line getting any better than that.
True.
Quite frankly.
Yeah. I mean, I think Fisto could handle Cock-Off, especially if the Cock-Off is being fired towards him. I feel like he could punch it away. Man at Arms, I mean, he's dealt with lots of men in his arms, so I reckon he could probably handle it as well. But I think they'd definitely be on Skeletor's side, wouldn't they? And if they're trying to get into Castle, trying to penetrate Castle Grayskull with their equipment.
Well, thanks for joining us again for Retrosaurus. It's been a blast. We've been all over Eternia. We've discovered Skeletor, He-Man, Evil, Fist Thing, you name it. It's all been there. It's all been like a one big night out in Studio 54 with mutants and monsters. Anything else to add there, Oli?
Well, just to say that you'll never be constipated if you have a Fisto close to hand.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And you're never alone if you've got Mossman hanging from the mirror in your car like a magic tree.
Just like Skeletor had in his garden at Castle Grayskull. Well, he called it a magic tree. Really, it was his big fat cock.
Oh.